Post COVID, we all have mastered the art of remote work culture, the digital world, social media presence. We know the where of remote work, but not the how of remote work. Have you ever noticed that once when you are in that digital room, one person's energy can derail the entire project, even when you're not physically present, even when you are in different time zones? You're experiencing the digital emotional contagion. It is the invisible ripple that can turn a high performing team into a group of isolated and anxious individuals. Hi, I am Satya Prema, your life coach, and I help corporate professionals and students create calm, clarity, and resilience in their personal and professional life. Today, we are looking into why our brain mimics the stress of somebody who is not even physically present and why it's the biggest hidden threat to your productivity. Basically, humans are wired for mimicking. For centuries, we have survived by reading the room. If the person sitting next to you looks terrified, your brain starts perceiving that as a threat and it triggers fight or flight response. But the problem in the remote world is we have lost 90% of the context. We have stopped observing those heavy sighs, slumped shoulders, or a small smirk. When you receive a Slack message or see that manager's response on a laggy Zoom call, your brain starts filling in those gaps with the worst case scenarios because we lack that physical proximity to reset that wipe button, and you are spending all your mental energy trying to imagine things and processing your colleagues' mood instead of solving the problem upfront. And when emotional contagion goes unchecked in a remote team, three things are definitely bound to happen. First is the trust erosion. When you're physically present in the office, you know that person is stressed because of his busy work or tiring work. But in a remote case, when the person doesn't respond, you start judging them based on their response rather than their circumstances, which is unseen. And second is the safety gap. For any team functioning, psychological safety is very important. That is where innovation and creativity flows. But if the digital air feels heavy and suspicious, team members stop sharing ideas for the fear of being mocked or criticized, and the opportunity for creativity is lost. And third is the synchronized burnout. Earlier we felt that burnout was individual, but now in 2026 we know that burnout is communal. If the leader is visibly exhausted, then the team subconsciously feels that they do not have the permission to rest. How do we stop this spread? You must have heard fake it till you make it, but you cannot fake happiness. It's about being emotionally intentional. At an individual level, you can practice digital hygiene where if the thread in the conversation or in the group gets heated up, stop typing and bring clarity over a quick call because the tone is lost in the text. But when you make a call, that empathy is found in that voice. And as a team, normalize the vibe check before you start the meeting or start the conversation. Acknowledge their presence, acknowledge their stress by saying, this has been a heavy week for all of us. So let's get over a quick call so that it acts like a circuit breaker for the collective stress. And importantly, the output shift. Focus on outcomes and not the presence. When you lower the pressure of to be visible all the time, then you lower the baseline anxiety of the entire group. Remote work doesn't mean you work in islands. You are a network despite stationed in various time zones, and like any network, the signal matters, and your mood, your tone, your words, your digital body language are the signals. Make sure what you're sending out is worth catching. Remember, in a hybrid world, clarity is empathy. If you are not clear about your mood or energy, your team will assume the worst. Corporate wisdom is not about knowing the most, it's about managing the vibe of your digital workspace. If you found this helpful, send one gratitude note to your remote team member and see how their output changes.